press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Well, students, we will continue with succession of plant. We were discussing in the last class ecological succession. It is the plant species growing in successive stages to reach the climax stage. Here, succession in plants, succession in plants. With reference to this succession in plants, it is basing on type of habitat. When we say habitat, we say it's a dwelling place or a place where living organism especially can live. Basing on what type of habitat, whether it is hydric, so that is whether it is wetter areas with more water, or it is drier area where the succession of the plant starts. We can refer that as hydric. Wetter area is referred as hydric, whereas the drier area is referred as xeroic. So, basing on type of habitat, whether it is having, especially it is with water, there will be water here, and this area, dry area, we call that as xeric condition. We call that as xeric condition. Xeric condition is very, very dry. So, succession of the plant, whether it will be depending on the place where it is starting, habitat, whether it starts from a wetter area or the way where water is present. Such one is called as hydric succession, or you call that as, if it is in drier area, then it is called as xeroic succession. Especially, see here, when a succession of plants, transitional stages or the overall stages can be referred as the serrae, or individual stages are called as transitional stages. The succession of plant starts from wetter area, that is hydric, and finally it progresses, succession progresses to mesic condition. Mesic, M-E-S-I-C. Hydric means with more water, the water will be more. Whereas here mesic means moderate amount of water, moderate amount of water. Moderate amount of water. Okay, the succession of plants starts with the pioneer community, the one that starts in the beginning, and finally it reaches to climax community that will be there in mesic condition. Likewise, it may start from a drier area. That drier area, the condition can be called as xeric, and the succession will be xerarch with no water, or you can say scarcity for water, and succession proceeds or progresses to even finally it leads to mesic condition only. Mesic. If the succession starts with wetter area also, that is hydric area, finally it progresses to mesic area. Mesic means moderates, the place with moderate amount of water. Hydric means it is with plenty of water. If the succession starts with xeric condition, it is a dry area where water scarcity is there. From that, finally it leads to mesic condition, that is the area with a moderate supply of water. Both the hydric especially, and then this particular one, this one, as you say, hydric, if it starts, we call it as hydrarch succession. If it is xeric, it will be referred as xerarch succession. So, beginning, either it may be the hydrarch or it may be xerarch, but finally they result or progress to mesic condition. Okay, just repeat this once again. We are discussing succession of plants. As we discussed in the earlier class, present day forms are resulted due to ecological succession that has happened over a long period of time, that is millions of years, when the life came onto the earth. The entire sequence can be referred as array, or individual stages are called as transitional stages or seral stages. The plant succession, whether it is basing on the drier area, if it is hydric, especially with plenty of water, it will be referred as hydrarch. If it is xeric area, it is referred as xerarch. So, hydrarch succession will start from the place where plenty of water, whereas xerarch succession starts from the water scarcity area or xeric area. Both hydrarch and xerarch, they start, one starts with plenty of water, one starts with scarcity of water. But when they finally progresses, they progress into the same condition, that is nothing but mesic condition. What is meant by mesic? Whatever you plants right now see around us, they are with a moderate supply of water. That is the condition which we call it as mesic. Not too much of water or not too less water. Such condition is called mesic. So, the plant succession finally reaches to the mesic condition. And especially the species that invade the bare rock, say let us have an idea of about xerox, plant succession. Here we have a bare rock. The one that invade here is the pioneer community. Pioneer, the one that begin the plant succession in xerox will be pioneer community. That pioneer community of xerox will be the lichens. You know that this is a symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Already we have discussed about lichen. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಲುವ ಅಂತ. ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಭಾಳ ಹತ್ತಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಒಂಥರ ಏನೋ ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಲೈಕ್. ಸಚ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಲೈಕ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ xerox plant succession, the first community to invade on the rock will be lichens. This is a symbiotic association between algae and fungi. And you know that lichens produce acids. The lichens in turn produce very small amount of acids. Those acids are helpful in breaking the rock to start the process what we call it as weathering of rocks. What exactly we are discussing? We are discussing xerox succession under succession of plants. It starts in which particular habitat? It starts in a bare rock. ಏನು ಬೇರ್ ರಾಕ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲು ಬಂಡೆ. In that bare rock, which was the first plant community to invade, ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಂಥ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಯಾವುದು? ಲೈಕನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Okay. Algae ಏನು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆ? ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್. ಫಂಗೈ ಏನು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆ? ವಾಟರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ and also nutrient supply. So they both the association. Why? How can the lichens can survive on rock? You know that they are able to produce a small amount of acids. What is the role of that acids? The acids are able to break down the soil, rock into particles. Due to this effect, a small amount of soil is formed. On a rocky surface, very small amount of soil are formed. Now, next plant stage will be bryophytes. That too in bryophytes, the mosses. Because they can grow in that small amount of soil. They can hold onto very small amount of soil which is there. And after some time, these bryophytes will make way for herbs. Then they make way for shrubs. And finally, over a period of time, the rock will not be there, degraded, and finally the climax community will be formed. It is nothing but the forest. When it is a bare rock, the condition here is water scarcity. It is called xeric condition. When the forest arrived over here, over thousands of years, the condition now is referred as mesic condition. Mesic means with moderate supply of water. This is how the succession happens on a bare rock, and this is called as xeroarc succession. How it started? It started with lichen growing on a bare rock. What is the property of lichens? They produce a small amount of acids. What is the role of acid in xeroarc? They are able to break the rock especially into very fine particles. The fine particle, later course of time, they become soil. When they form a little amount of soil, on that little amount of soil, the plants like bryophytes can grow. After some time, the bryophytes will make the way for herbs. Herbs will replace the bryophytes. Later, after some time, the herbs will be replaced by shrubs. And then the shrubs finally will be replaced by forest. Each stage, lichen, bryophyte, herbs, each one is several stages. From lichen to forest, it is serrate. From lichen to forest, it is serrate. The total ecological succession. In the course of time, the rock will not be there, and it will match with the surrounding, whatever the forest is there, and that is called as climax community. Climax community will stay as long as the environment doesn't change. And particularly, say this climax community, the climax community, what we refer it as, will not undergo any change, will not undergo any change, unless until there is a change in environment. If there is a change in environment, then the climax community can also undergo a change. Until then, it will not. So, what exactly happened here is, this habitat is called xerophytic habitat. Xerophytic habitat. And this habitat is called mesophytic habitat. From a place, habitat where there was no water, to the habitat with moderate supply of water. That is what exactly has changed during xeroarc succession. Likewise, let us know about hydrarch succession. Let us know about hydrarch succession. Hydrarch succession. You know that it starts with a wetter area. Let us say that it starts with a pond. A newly formed pond. In a newly formed pond, first First you have phytoplanktons. Phytoplanktons. You know that these are not visible to naked eye. They are not visible to naked eye. Why so? Because they are microscopic plant-like organisms. What they are? Microscopic plant-like organisms. So, the first stage, you know that they are the pioneer community. Pioneer community. The community which starts the succession will be pioneer. In xeroarch succession, it was lichen. In hydrarch succession, it is phytoplanktons. From phytoplanktons, it moves to, they make their way for submerged plants. Submerged plants, especially submerged plants. So, second one is they are the submerged. And then especially there will be the presence of especially, okay. So from here, not the submerged, it is the third one. Here it will be the floating plants. It will be the floating plants. First, after phytoplanktons, it will be second one, it is floating angiosperms. From there, the third one will be floating angiosperms will be there at the top. At the below you have the submerged stage. Your submerged hydrophytes will be there. Hydrophytes, water plants. As the things are going on, it will lead to the condition where the water level goes on decreasing in the pond. Certain plants will rise, sedge plants. They will rise from the bottom, rise to the more than the top of the surface of the water. And that particular stage is called reed swamp stage. Reed swamp stage. Reed swamp stage. The fourth one. And then, especially in this case, certain sedge plants will start appearing. What are these sedge plants? These plants are they grass-like. They are grass-like, and they have triangular stem, and inconspicuous flowers. The flowers here are very small and indistinct. Such one, sedge plants. The fifth stage, we call that as marsh meadow stage. Here, Still, the plants, especially some tall herbaceous plants, will rise especially. Along with that, very small herbs are to be seen, and totally the water body is especially is becoming less. Okay, and such stage is referred as marsh meadow stage. Marsh meadow stage. And at that particular period, you will have some small trees. The small trees will appear and they replace this stage along with very shrubby plants, more number of shrubs and also small trees will be there, and the water will be completely dried up. I mean, pond will be dried up. And this particular stage is called scrub stage. Scrub stage. Scrub stage. The sixth one. And finally, it leads to the last stage, that is a climax stage. The climax stage is the forest. Forest. And the condition is mesic, that is with moderate supply of water. Here the condition was hydric with lots of water. So, this succession is called as hydrarch. It starts with a wetter area. The first organisms to invade the newly formed pond will be the phytoplanktons. And you know that the after that, the first one to appear will be the floating angiosperms, and then it will be the submerged hydrophytes. Then there will be reed swamp stage where the sedge plants will start appearing. These sedge plants are grass-like plants. They are more to grow in temperate and cold regions, and also they are having a triangular stem. The shape of the stem will be triangular, and they produce very small or minute inconspicuous flowers, and later on some shrubs will appear, and then when the shrubs appear along with these sedge plants, the stage is called as marsh meadow stage, and it leads to a condition where a small trees along with majority of shrubs will be there. That stage is called a scrub stage. Scrub referring to shrubby jungle. And then finally it leads to a climax stage, which is nothing but the forest. And the condition here, it is mesic. From hydric to mesic condition. This is what exactly happens in case of hydrarch plant succession. Then this hydrarch and xerarch both are the example for primary succession. You know that we talked earlier, the land where the forest was present, it was cut or it is lost due to forest fire or abandoned the farmland. In that area, you know that succession will start. That succession is called secondary succession. secondary succession. This secondary succession, the species that invade will be depending on the condition of the soil, what type of soil is there, then availability of water, and what is the climatic condition, and whether any seeds or propagules of plants are there. So, secondary succession, what type of species invade that place depends on condition of the soil in that particular area, availability of water, climatic condition, and seeds or propagule to be present. And you know that since soil is already present, unlike primary succession where soil has to be formed, since soil is already present, you know that this succession is very quick. When compared to the primary succession. And you know that secondary succession, when compared to primary succession, it will be fast because the soil is already present. In the case of primary succession, that too in zero condition, the soil has to be formed. Okay, whatever the condition, whether the succession will start with drier area or like xeric condition, or it will start with a wetter area, that is with water, finally the succession will lead to mesic condition. So, in both xerarch and hydrarch, the climax community is forest, but in xerarch, the pioneer community will be the lichen. In case of hydrarch, the pioneer community is phytoplanktons. These are the points to be noted. Well, then this conclude the succession of plants. And now, why the secondary succession is faster than primary succession? Because presence of soil. What are the conditions that will decide which species will invade first in secondary succession? It depends on the soil condition, and also it depends on water availability, environmental condition, what are the seeds or propagules to be present there. And now we will go ahead with, so that completes the energy cycling. We are on to the last of the aspects of ecosystem functions, that is nutrient cycling. With reference to nutrient cycling, especially Say, from earlier class, that is in first PUC, you know that an organism require constant supply of nutrients for the functions like to grow, to reproduce and regulate their body functions. Which one? Organisms. What they require? They require constant supply of nutrient. For what purpose? For them to grow, for them to reproduce, for to regulate their body function. Regulate ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡೋ. ಏನನ್ನ? ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂತಹ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು? ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು? ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್. ಸೇ ದಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ like nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus and calcium, etc. are present in soil at a particular time is called standing state. Already standing state. Just recollect this. The amount of nutrients like nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, calcium, etc. are present in soil. They are present in soil at a particular time or a given time. Or a particular time, or you can say it's a given time. Such is called as what? Standing state. Already same type of term we have discussed earlier. Standing crop. It is the amount of living material present in the organisms of a trophic level or ecosystem of a unit area at a particular time. So if it is referring to the living material, then it is called as standing crop. If we are referring to nutrients, inorganic nutrients like nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, calcium, to be present in soil at a particular or a given time is called a standing state. You know that this standing state varies in different ecosystem and in different environmental conditions. Different environmental conditions. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಈವನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವೇರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್. Seasonal variations also there. Which one? Standing state. Okay, especially These nutrients are never lost. You know that they recycle ecosystem continuously. These nutrients are never lost from an ecosystem, but they are recycled continuously in an ecosystem through the components and also through the abiotic factors, especially they recycle. And you know that they will be recycled through various components of the ecosystem. Which one? The nutrients. What they do? Recycle. Where? In an ecosystem. Through what? Various components. It may be like different producers, consumers, decomposers, all the things. Another name for the what we call it as nutrient cycling is biogeochemical cycle. We can use a term biogeochemical cycle, an alternate name for nutrient cycle. For the nutrient cycle, we can use a term biogeochemical cycle. Here, bio means life, geo means water, earth, sun, and air. Water, earth, air. I just repeat. We are to discuss regarding nutrient cycling. As you already studied in first year, the mineral nutrition, organisms require constant supply of nutrients for their growth, for their reproduction, for them to regulate their body functions. The amount of nutrients like nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, calcium, etc. present in soil at a given time is referred as standing state. Standing state of different ecosystem vary. It varies according to seasonal conditions. The nutrients are never lost from an ecosystem. They are recycled continuously in the ecosystem through various components, The other name for nutrient cycle can also be biogeochemical cycle. Bio means life or living, geo means earth, water, it includes air also, especially. And in nutrient cycling, there are two types. One are called gaseous cycle, other one are called sedimentary cycle. In biogeochemical cycle, which is the other name for nutrient cycle, biogeochemical cycle, you have two types, one like gaseous cycle, gaseous cycle. The other one is sedimentary cycle. The example for gaseous cycle are carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle and carbon cycle are the examples for gaseous cycle. The reservoir for gaseous cycle will be atmosphere. Atmosphere air will be the reservoir for gaseous cycle like carbon and nitrogen. And you know that you have studied in detail, you have studied the nitrogen cycle in first year. Here, second year, we are going to study one of the gaseous cycle, that is carbon cycle. The sedimentary cycle examples you know are phosphorus cycle. The other one is sulfur cycle. Out of the two, we are going to study the first one. The reservoir for gaseous cycle, reservoir for carbon, the gaseous cycle or atmosphere, reservoir for sedimentary cycle will be earth crust. Earth crust. I just repeat. So, the biogeochemical cycle is the other name for nutrient cycle. Under biogeochemical cycle, you will get two types of cycle. One are called gaseous cycle, the other one are called sedimentary cycle. Under gaseous cycle, you have carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen cycle you have studied already in the first year. Here we are going to study the carbon cycle. The reservoir for the carbon as well as nitrogen will be the atmosphere. For a sedimentary cycle, you have phosphorus cycle and sulfur. We are going to study phosphorus cycle here. The reservoir for the sedimentary cycle will be the earth crust. Earth crust. The environmental factors. The environmental factors like soil, moisture, pH and temperature. Environmental factors like soil, moisture, pH and temperature regulate the release of nutrients. Regulates the release of nutrients into atmosphere. Environmental factors like soil, moisture, that is nothing but humidity, water content, the pH, hydrogen and hydroxyl ion concentration and temperature. These are the four important factors. They play a very important role in releasing these nutrients back into atmosphere. And you know that especially these reservoirs will function to maintain the imbalance caused due to these nutrients. So the reservoirs function is to maintain the imbalance created due to influx or efflux. Influx means those nutrients are adding up. Efflux means influx. Efflux. This is an addition. Efflux means the removal. If the nutrients are added to reservoir, an ecosystem, that is an influx. If they are removed from the environment, efflux. To maintain this, the reservoir play an important role. Okay. So biogeochemical cycles are nothing but the nutrient cycle that are happening in an ecosystem. And under this gaseous cycle, you have carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle. The reservoir will be the atmosphere. Sedimentary cycle, you have phosphorus and sulfur cycle. Its reservoir is earth crust. Environmental factors like soil, moisture, pH, temperature regulate the release of these nutrients into atmosphere. The reservoir will play an important role in maintaining the imbalance caused in these nutrients, either by influx or by efflux. And now we will start studying about one of the gaseous cycle, that is the carbon cycle. So what exactly we are discussing right now? We are discussing right now will be the carbon cycle. And especially whenever you study the chemical composition of a living organism, whenever you study the chemical composition of a living organism, it reveals that 49% of its biomass, or you call that as 49% of its dry weight, is by carbon. The carbon is the most important nutrient apart from water. See, you know that the water is the most important one. Okay, water is the one which is, the plenty of water will be there in our body. Next only to water, the next highest nutrient that is present in a body of an organism will be the carbon. Carbon constitute 49% of the biomass. And especially out of the global carbon, 71% will be found in dissolved form in ocean. In ocean, the carbon will be around 71%, and you know that this is the most important Okay, source. And you know that this ocean regulates the carbon. Okay, and then coming on to that, an atmosphere air, the atmosphere air will have 1% of the carbon. 1% of the carbon will be there in atmosphere air. So then we have that fossil fuels. Fossil fuels also serves as reservoir for carbon. Reservoir for carbon. I just repeat. We are now discussing one of the gaseous cycle under biogeochemical cycle, the carbon cycle. The carbon, when we go through with the chemical composition of a living organism, ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ಕೆಮಿಕಲಿ ನಾವು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 49% ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಡ್ರೈ ವೇಟ್. ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದು ಯಾವುದು? ವಾಟರ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 71% ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನು ಸಾಗರದ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟು? 71%. ಈ ಓಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನು ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನನ್ನು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Carbon level in ocean will regulate atmospheric carbon. Especially in atmospheric air there is 1% of carbon. The fossil fuels also serve as the reservoir for carbon. Carbon cycling occurs through atmosphere, ವಾತಾವರಣದ ಗಾಳಿ, ocean, ಸಾಗರ, and living and dead organisms occurs. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್, ಓಷನ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್, ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್, ದ ಡೆಡ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್. Okay. So what is the percentage of oceanic carbon? 71%. In what form it is there? In dissolved form. This can regulate what? This can regulate the amount of carbon in atmosphere air. What is the percentage of atmospheric carbon? 1%. The fossil fuels can also a reservoir for carbon. The carbon cycling will occur through atmospheric air, ocean, living and dead. And according to one estimate, 4 into 10 to the power of 13 kgs of carbon will be fixed in biosphere. according to one estimation that 4 into 10 to the power of 13 kgs of carbon, 4 into 10 to the power of 13 kgs of carbon fixed in biosphere by plants through photosynthesis. ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಬಯೋಸ್ಪಿಯರಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯನ್ಯುಯಲಿ 4 into the 10 to the power of 13 kgs of carbon will be fixed. You know that out of the fixed carbon, ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇದೇನೋ ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಭಾಳ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇಡೀ ಅರ್ಥಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಮತ್ತು ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇವು ಕೂಡ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ? ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಥ್ರೂ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ respiration mukantra, the carbon dioxide will be added. One or the other day, the plants will die, animals will also die. They undergo what? They undergo decomposition. When they undergo decomposition, during decomposition process also, carbon dioxide is added back. And you know that expression. When this animal, that too when animals of a sea will feed on carbon and they are lost to sediments like shell ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಶಿಯಂ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತಾ, ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರಿ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಾಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾರ್ಬೋನೇಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಾಗಿ some sediments of sea will have this carbon deposit. Which may not return. And you know that when the plants especially will undergo fossilization, and that fossilization will result in fossil fuels. And that fossil fuels, when they undergo combustion, they add up the carbon dioxide. Likewise, burning of wood. ಮರಗಳನ್ನು ಸುಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಬರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ವುಡ್. ಕಂಬಷನ್ ಆಫ್ organic matter, combustion of organic matter, combustion of fossil fuels in vehicles and also in generators to produce energy. Generators, and especially volcanic eruptions. These can also add up the carbon dioxide. This can also add up. And especially human activity has enhanced this process. Human activities like we are cutting down the forest, deforestation, cutting down the forest. And also we are using vehicles and also generators for our transport and energy production. That's also add up. And you know that I did tell you the decomposition will also add up. So all these human activities are adding up the carbon dioxide. You know that the carbon dioxide level is undergoing tremendous increase, which you have already discussed in greenhouse effect, that is greenhouse gases and their effect. So, burning of wood, combustion of organic matter, burning of fossil fuels in vehicles and generators, volcanic eruption can also add up the carbon dioxide. When animals and plants respire, they also add up the carbon dioxide. When the animals and plants die, their dead body will undergo decomposition, and even the waste material will also undergo decomposition. During decomposition, carbon dioxide is added. Some part of carbon may enter the water, sea water, and it can be lost in some sediments which may not return back. And addition of this carbon dioxide, too much addition of carbon dioxide to the nature has led to greenhouse effect. So, this is with reference to carbon cycle. When we meet in next class, we will start with phosphorus cycle. Thank you.